It is 7:46 here on this Friday morning wake-up call. It is Friday at the Fuzz time, so I'll toss it right over to Mr. Michael Greene.
Thanks, Derek. In the studio with us, as most every Friday, is Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda. Welcome, Jeff.
Well, thank you. Happy Friday.
Big day today. You want to reveal anything now, or?
No.
No. Oh,
no.
Man.
Today is a day I'm
Making some
doing interviews, announcing the new commander, so
interviews
that'll be exciting. Interviews have been over the past, about a week ago we started them,
Still
and then
looking
been a couple separate ones, and then we are doing that today. We're finalizing the list for the police officer candidates. Those are, we've got interviews all day tomorrow, all day Saturday we're doing the Police Fire Commission. We're interviewing, I think, 15 more people or something, so a lot of stuff coming on, and we're going to have promotion ceremony. We'll announce everything here probably, this afternoon part of it, and then next week with officers. But looking at the 30th for Glenn Theriault's, we're calling it an external promotion, not a retirement. Way too young to retire, so calling it an external promotion.
Retire from the Elgin Police.
Retire?
Right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and so then heading out to Sycamore, and then promoting, and we're gonna have a nice ceremony on the 30th. So it'll be. It's a busy day today, busy weekend, and a lot of stuff going on within the police department, so it's exciting.
Good stuff.
Good stuff, mostly.
Yeah, no, mostly all good stuff. We have some other stuff, I guess, all good too, because it all resulted in arrests. At least there's not some outstanding cases. We go back all the way to Thanksgiving. We didn't have a show last week, so one of the things, they're all somehow related in the fact that I think the public was involved in every one of these arrests in one way or another.
Yes.
Which is great. You've talked about that on the show for years, about it's not your police department, it's Elgin's police department, and you'll be more successful with more interaction from the public. We have 5 cases to talk about if we get to all of them, and all 5 were someone from the general public or a neighbor or somebody saying, that doesn't look right, I got to make a phone call.
Absolutely, I was able to talk about it again last night at a Triad had a Christmas party. Triad's group, Sherry's really, I think he was the president, but is no longer the president, but works with Kevin Williams of the state or King County, and just the group, King County Board is a part of it, and it's just it's a group that helps out seniors, and we talked a lot about how when the community helps each other out, then there's so much. I mean, especially in this time of year, the giving type of year, and you think about, the idea of giving is better than receiving, and how you can do things to help your community out, how you can help your family out, all those things. This is one where the community, year-round, is always stepping up in Elgin, and something we continue to try and foster and make sure people know they're never bothering us. And these people took us at our word and saw some things that weren't right and gave us a call. And we were able to make some quality arrests. Patrol officers did a fantastic job on these and made some great arrests.
Thanksgiving night, 17-year-old juveniles, 2 of them, a boy and a girl, charged in connection with 2 stolen cars. Both cars were left running to warm up, and it's that time of year. People do it. We've talked about this for years as well. It's against the law, and it's against the law because you're not trying to put somebody out or, like, hey, you can't warm up your car, you got to run it cold. It's because of this type of incident. Right.
It's really identifying, trying to save, people's property. And also, I mean, bad things can happen when the cars are left running and unlocked. Young kids can go by without lights. So not only thieves, but, kids getting behind the wheels of the wheel of a car when it's running and unattended. You see sometimes parents run into the store and there's a kid in the car. Yeah. And then, the kid crawls across to the front seat and maybe, puts it in reverse or something. So bad things happen when you leave, a 2,000-pound automobile running with just a lever that's keeping it in place. Having said that, because it always comes up, remote starts where the car is locked on your own property, that's okay. It's just the vehicle left running with the keys in on city property where we address it. And usually, we don't write a whole lot of tickets for it, quite honestly. We try to do this more through education.
Right.
But if somebody does get in and a kid, somebody was to get hurt because somebody got behind the wheel of a car that was left running and they, again, put it in reverse and somebody got hurt, they would obviously be cited for that. But we're really just trying to tell people we know it and have a separate set of keys, lock the car when you do it, and take some precautions.
So in this case here, Chrysler 300 taken in about 8 p.m. from the 1300 block at Todd Farm Drive. Then at 9:30, a Cobalt was taken from the 2300 block of South Street. But in that second case, a witness saw the car following the Chevy. It was driven away, and something must not have looked right, but was able to call in with a description of the vehicle and which way it was going, and then your patrol officers, almost immediately, I think, right, took over.
Yeah, they gave us the most important thing when you're calling the police is, you don't need to get very specific. A lot of times it's which colors of the car and which way it's going. Whether it's a Toyota or whatever, that's not as important as, it's a blue four-door vehicle and it's heading southbound on McLean and it's followed by this other car. And our patrol officers were on it. They were in the area and were able to see it pulling down a street a few blocks away, and were able to make traffic stop and take some people into custody.
Like at the end of the release here, police remind residents it's illegal to leave a car running unattended, although in this case the parties were not charged. Police suggesting automatic car starters, as you said, as those vehicles cannot be put into gear without the keys. So good on that one. Another one, this we've talked about this before. We've even talked about it with cars. There are parts to a car or parts to a home, right, that have some value in resale. And this one was an incident on the 600 block of Cooper Avenue where, again, I think a witness saw something, correct, and called it in. And officers arrive, and lo and behold, there's someone in the house at the time, right, still, and he's cutting out copper piping.
Yeah, there were two different ones, and I think if this is the one, where the a neighbor knew that nothing should be going on in a house.
1900 block Canal Street.
Then there was the other one where the person took off running out of the house, and officers were out there waiting for them to arrive. So
jumped out the first floor window.
Exactly, right. Jumped out the window. We had officers nearby, and he was in the process of committing a burglary, and someone within the home, but a separate part, called it in. So officers. Again, had a nice quick response. We were able to set up a perimeter as the person exited the house. Short foot chase came on, and we were able to take the person into custody. But there also was one with a person in a vacant home that was cutting out copper piping, and that was just a neighbor who was watching the house, knew that, hey, that doesn't. I know nobody lives there. What's going on over there? Called us, and we were able to make an arrest on that person as well. So, multiple arrests on things that were going on, suspicious behavior. And again, never bothering us, call us, we'll show up, and again, just a great response by our patrol officers.
Interesting in these cases was one, the suspect that was identified was an Elgin resident, and the other, he was up here from Blue Island, which is a southwest suburb of Chicago. I don't know if he was up here working, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a neighbor or somebody that knows the neighbor. It could be anybody.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
They're here,
right? It could be from far away, and also, especially when dealing with precious metals or resale shops, many times you don't want to keep going to the same resale shop. You go to places where people don't recognize you. That's where a lot of it we're having the scams as well, where sometimes, and we've noticed it, especially some elderly have been scammed, where somebody comes up, knocks on the door, they check the water, somebody else comes in. When we do find out those people, but it's rare, if an arrest is made. Seldom are they from that community. Obviously, they want to get in. Elgin's popular right off of 90, so get in, try and hit some of those spots, and then never be seen again, and try and get away. So it's not unheard of for people to travel great distances to commit a crime.
There are a couple other incidents, but I don't know. With the time we have, maybe we can kind of talk about how this relates to some of your crime stats, because I know you've got some information there with the crime stats this year. So. Every year, you guys right now through November, and these are the crime stats. These are reported to the FBI, right?
FBI,
yep. And really, it kind of just shows the job you've done for the year. It's just a statistical analogy, basically, of just the work that's been done. Although it's strictly statistics. It doesn't show everything you've done. It just shows results.
Right. It's kind of our scorecard with crime. A lot of variables in that. We want to make sure that people are reporting all crimes because. For us to, especially when we're talking about burglary to vehicles and people going around and checking unlocked car doors, many times people will say, I didn't even call because it was only $5 or my fault. I shouldn't have left my CDs laying on the, on the front seat. And so we still we still want you to call. We still want to make a police report so that we can still have that for two reasons. We want to have accurate crime data, but secondly, we want to make sure that now we know that somebody in that area is walking around, whether they drove there and they don't live there, or many times, victimization occurs close to the person's home. So as they go out and want to walk around and check car doors, they're going to be doing that many times where they live. So we're asking people, constantly reminding people, we make it easy for people to go online and write their own police report, especially for minor crimes, but stop in the police department. So we're always reminding people we need to know what the real level of crime is, so make sure you're reporting all crimes. As we're doing that, our crime stats come out, we keep track of them every month, so we watch, and again, a lot of it's trends. There are certain crimes that are very difficult, obviously, to prevent, and many times it's really just a matter of, like these burglary arrests, who knows how many other homes that they committed burglaries in. I mean, we have hundreds of burglaries a year, so one burglar can do dozens and dozens of crimes.
In a home that's vacant or in foreclosure, who's going to report it?
Exactly, and so many times it takes, sometimes people don't even know for weeks. Who knows when the next time the realtor, especially if it's a foreclosed home, in the bank-owned home, it might take a long time for us to even realize a crime has occurred. So, as we're looking at things, the crimes that we've been very successful with are the burglary motor vehicles, having great success again this year. And again, it's a lot of that's making great arrests, from the patrol department to our USA team that works on a career offender program where they identify who are the burglars in the community and kind of concentrate in those areas and make some quality arrests. So burglary motor vehicle down. The one crime that's up, and it's actually driving our whole entire Part 1 crime up, is theft. And a lot of the theft can be from retail establishments. That's where we're really seeing it. A lot of the big box stores up on Walmart.
I was just going to ask you to define.
Or I'm sorry, on
theft.
Randall.
Yeah,
retail theft. So we've had some new stores put in the past few years, from Sam's Club to Walmart. Some very active stores this time of year, and so we are routinely at those stores. They're doing a great job catching people who are committing retail theft. They're stealing, and so. That's one of those crimes that we're trying to do a lot of things working with the store. The store has been working with us to make sure we try and prevent those crimes from occurring. But it is one that right now that crime in and of itself, retail theft, has driven up our entire Part 1 crimes to where we're right on the edge of whether or not crime this year will be down or up slightly. So kind of December we'll decide. What
are some of the things that can be put in place, or maybe what have been put in place so far now that you're seeing the trend with the retail theft going up? You said you're working with some of the retailers that are working with you. What kind of things can you do? I mean...
Yeah, they've been great as far as we did an analysis of what types of things were being stolen. So when they call and we catch them, one of the things that we noticed was cosmetics. And so we were also seeing that who were the ones doing it, and sometimes we're finding teenage girls were stealing some of the cosmetics. Maybe they couldn't afford to buy, or whatever reason, they were stealing them. So we worked on where that placement can be in the store. So is it, can we move that? And so we were working with the stores to do that. And then also use the education side through our school resource officers to make sure that they understand it, and by telling the people in the school that, listen, we know a lot of people are going to these places and stealing cosmetics. Make sure that you're not a part of it. If you get caught stolen, or stealing, this is what can happen. So hitting it from both sides. It's not uncommon. I know for some it's a pain. Razors. You need to show up, and you and I don't need a razor right about now. But when it comes time again to use the razor, a lot of times they're behind lock and key, and so you have to actually ask somebody because they're expensive. Razors are very expensive. So we start looking at what's being stolen, where is it located in the store, work with the store to see if they'll move it. Cigarettes were a lot of times it's going back a few years, very popular for stores. And now, to get cigarettes, of course, they're like gold as well for the price of them, so they are put behind lock and key as well. So that's the kind of stuff, just makes, target hardening is what we call it, making sure we're watching where we're putting it so that hopefully it can reduce just by that. So it's we'll see if it's having success, but it's, as people see, in fact, we were just talking with Christy, and we put a lot of our people who are arrested online. In fact, somebody asked, how do you decide which people get put online or on Facebook for arrest? And generally any major felony that's out there that's going on, people that are arrested for burglary, or if it's a high profile case, a DUI that just smacked into 4 cars, and that those will go out there. Routine, no driver's license, we don't put those, we don't do a press release for that. But retail theft may be something that we start putting out there, so just to show how many arrests and that's not really an arrest that we're making, the police department, it's the store is doing it and then calling us after the person's in custody generally. So it's just a lot of education as security is getting better and video cameras are getting better within the stores. hopefully we will continue to start driving that number down, but stop people from going in stores and stealing. But as you know, I think you work loss prevention. I worked loss prevention through college, so it's there's never a shortage of people who want to go in and want the newest, nicest things, but don't want to pay for it. So that's we're dealing with that still to this day. So we haven't solved that crime by any means.
With December still to go with the crime stats, anything that happens this month, does that still get counted? Because I don't know if it'll be reported. How does that work? So do they have to make it all the way through the court system?
No. It's
it's just arrest.
No, it's just the crime. So if you
Okay.
call up, so there's many times we'll be clearing out cases from a year ago. So what the FBI tracks are cases, so how many crimes have occurred, but not how many arrests.
I got you.
So of those, 300 burglaries, we might have,
If someone calls in
50 of
today,
them
but it's not resolved until 6 months from now,
Yeah.
it's still counted as today.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes a while. Sometimes the reports won't be done through the system for a week. So Russ, who does all of our crime stats, they're all electronically done. As soon as the officer writes the report, it's put in the system, and then he just counts them at the end. And as we're doing that, we then look back at the years in the past to see where we're at. Higher or lower, what are the things we can change for next year, where we need to put more resources. But we don't have the final numbers, and we put them out usually mid-January to make sure that everything is in there. But even having said that, there are sometimes you'll find something out from 6 months ago, and so we'll have to go back and make either a correction or change something. But we work with the FBI through the Uniform Crime Reports to do that. So it's coming down to the last couple weeks here, right on the edge. So.
Words of wisdom for the rest of the year. I know it's that time of the year with the shopping and lights and presents on the car. And I walked. I was walking through a parking lot of a major retailer, and there was a 60-inch television. It was probably a third of the way out of the back trunk, and it was bungee corded. And I'm like, wow, this guy's just or gal is just asking for trouble here. But
yeah. It's just reminding people.
Drop it off and
exactly.
I don't know.
Yes, reminding people, when you do go, obviously everybody's out shopping and spending money in the store, making sure you keep a close eye on your purse and, even not putting it just in your cart as you're walking and then walk away from your cart where it's wide open, all the way to as you're buying things and walking out and putting in the car. If you're going to another store, make sure if you can put things in the trunk so they're not easy to get to. You don't want to see a bunch of nice Best Buy bags in the back seat of a car because somebody may break a window and grab a bunch of bags. So, and then all of a sudden everybody looking out for each other. So as you're pulling in, stay aware. And if you see a car that's just sitting there with a few guys not doing anything, because sometimes we'll watch those types of things. And so they're sitting in the parking lots, they're waiting for people to leave or leave as they're unpacking some of their belongings into the car. They may strike then. So you see suspicious activity, just give us a call. Say, there's a car, 3 guys sitting in a car and they're not doing anything. We'll roll a squad car by it, see what they're doing. If they're just waiting for somebody, then no harm, and we'll be on our way. But looking out for each other is important, so making sure that people call them when something like that's going on.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thanks for having me. It'll be a great weekend. And I see Steve just walked in. I was able to drive by his house last night. If anybody hasn't driven by the Wing Mansion, boy, check it out. It's beautiful out there. Looks like Graceland. It's wonderful.
You made his day. All right. Thanks very much.
But Steve doesn't look like Elvis.
No, he doesn't.
You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
And Elgin.